So here's Nodin, and we are on day 12, and he's getting pretty good about his routine of kind of how I like to groom him in the beginning and give him scratches and pick up his feet before we kind of start any type of work or anything like that. He's getting very close to really getting into the scratches. You can see his little lip goes, and he's kind of like, hey, can you keep scratching me? He is a really funny, has a really funny personality. So now picking up his hind feet. He's getting much better about not going and spitting out sideways. He still does it a little bit at the end, but at least now when I pick it up, he knows to stand. So I just go back, and every time I just keep scratching him. Letting him smell the hoof pick. And then always trying to get some more little scratches out of him. And again, I pretty much make this kind of the routine. So then they really get used to their feet being handled, and it just becomes kind of part of it. And you can see he's pretty good. I can touch the other part of his leg while I'm over here. And I'm just going to give him a minute to think about that. Then I'm going to finish up and pick out his hind right. And he's doing much better. He still can be a little worried, but he's standing a lot better and doing a good job of ground tying. Again, just practicing a little bit here. And he did a good job of not kind of completely throwing his haunches out sideways. So he gets a nice scratch for that. And then just going through, brushing his mane. I've sped it up for you guys. And going through and brushing his tail. So then I just wanted to take the rasp and balance him up a little bit. So again, anytime I can practice with his feet and with the farrier tools, that just makes my farrier's job later on a lot easier. So you can see he's starting to be pretty relaxed about this. And I was pretty happy with that. We got some pretty good releases. Now I'm going to do the other side. And also being in Florida with the soft sand, our horse's feet grow pretty fast. So it helps if I can just kind of keep up on it with a rasp, kind of, I play around with it daily, but I'm not really taking much off. I'm just rounding it up. And just because he wiggled there, I decided to finish up to then where he stands. So now I'm going to do a little bit of practicing with the rope. Like I'm going to take the halter on and off. And each horse is a bit different with how they like this. He's pretty cuddly. He's always been really good about his face, and he likes to come in for some snuggles and face scratches. And he kind of prefers me on the side like this and going over his ears. Sometimes they prefer that you stand in front and you go kind of the nose first, but he really does prefer it like this, where it just slides over his ears. And so I'm pretty happy with that. Again, he's not too bothered about if I'm to take the rope or anything like that. So that's pretty good with being able to take the halter on and off. So I'm just going to give him some more scratches. And then we had some more cuddles. He really does like cuddles. He really is a pretty cute horse. I'm pretty excited about him. and it's been fun doing his training so far, and really starting to see him kind of open up a little bit more. He found a pretty good itchy spot, kind of right by his ear. And he was being a bit of a goob. So I'm just gonna do that little itchy spot, which is actually funny because Denali was the same exact way. And I'm just gonna give him a minute here. And then we went and started to practice walking outside the pen. So in this alleyway here, just working on walking past my student Megan. And he's handling that pretty well. He's feeling pretty soft on the halter and leading pretty well. So we were playing around with some of the ribbon sticks and made a little bit of a point for him, but then I felt like he was good enough that we could venture outside of the pens and head towards the barn. And sometimes we have a lead horse to help us with the young ones in the beginning, but he felt pretty good, so I decided to venture out by myself. And we were coming up to the kind of the scary end of the barn, but I kind of chose this end because comparative to all the other ends, this was a little bit better. I had a lot of things on my other entrances, like pallets of shavings that had some flapping plastic. So I chose this end, which I don't always do. You see me trying to get Fergus out of the way. The dogs just know when we have the wildies around, they like to come and watch. So he's a little worried here, which is fair because, again, going into light, into dark, there's a lot of things that he can't really read. So I'm just going to give him a minute here and see if I can get him to come a little bit off of the pressure of the halter in a minute. You'll see I'll kind of move him on a diagonal from side to side just to see if I can get his feet to move. I added a little bit of pressure with the flag, but he wasn't really feeling that. So I had Ellen, who's filming, stand behind me, see if that would help a little bit, and that did. So we're right on the edge, but again, it's pretty scary. They're going from the light limestone onto the mats. And you can see he makes a bigger step. It's pretty cute. But he's doing a good job of handling it. So he's pretty scared at this point, but I'm just going to see if I can get him to walk into the wash rack. Sometimes when they get worried like that, they kind of start gaining speed and then you lose them, but he's doing a good job. I'm just going to do a little wiggle on the halter and then give him a scratch, just so he can register. There's lots of new things in the barn. And then we're going to see if we can explore a little bit. And he does a really good job of walking past the bag of shavings. This can all be pretty scary for the newbies in the beginning, but he handles that pretty well. And then he got to visit with Roman, which was pretty cute. I always wonder sometimes, because they're from the same herd, so who knows, they might know each other. It's a pretty big herd, but you never know still. I'm going to be pretty fun to see if anybody is related, because we do have a fair number of Twin Peaks horses. So he's doing a really good job of walking down the aisle. You can see everybody's kind of checking out the new guy. And we're coming near the other end of the barn, where again we have kind of this pallet with the flapping plastic. So sometimes that can be a little nerve-wracking. But still, I have to make sure I stay calm. You see little Cinder wanted to come visit, and I had to tell Ginger to not be a mama bear. But he's doing a really good job. He's gotten a lot of information, and right there you could see he could have run me over, but he contained himself, so I was pleased that he did not run me over. They tend to want to crawl in your lap sometimes when they get a little worried, so creating that bubble and teaching them to kind of stay out of that space helps. And now he's walking to the paddocks, because I'm going to let him go out in one of the little fields here. You see Cassie there looking on, and Rune, and then across is Denali over there. So everybody's coming to watch the new guy come out. He walks into his field really nicely. Sometimes even with the grass change to the sand, you'll see they'll kind of hesitate about going in and out of the gates, but he did a really good job. And then letting him go out, and he was pretty happy to check out his new little field. And having a good walk around. And he even had some little zoomies and bucks. He's a very athletic boy. I love his canter. That was probably one of the things. I saw him canter off the big rig, and that was one thing that I really liked about him. But I was really pleased with this boy today. He really did a good job, and you can see he's really getting some good bucks out in his field. So good day for Nodin.